Welcome back, ladies and gents. I'll be picking up the host role and giving Nightmare a little bit of a break. He's been on a very long haul. Done the initial best of 5 from basically 4 a.m. over here, so get some well-deserved rest. But that leaves you with myself and, of course, Vinny, still here to take you through the rest of this series. Kind of evened up 1-1. It wasn't close by the time we hit that end game. DFM were trying to pull out some shenanigans in side lanes. Got onto the inhibitor, but then that Darius got in. Then Proud hit another Tempered Fate, and Tempered Fate into Apprehend won Burning Core so many team fights, Vinny.
Yeah, and if you look at the goal difference, you can see where the two massive team fights took place. You can see the little peak for the Rift Terror fight, and then the massive spike when they get the Baron, get the kills, and just roll over and take pretty much every structure that is not within Detonation's base. So, and it was not close as soon as those fights happened. Until then, it was very much looking like DFM would take it, though. They got that jungle lead.
Yeah, they did, and they were starting to try and pick on the Darius, but then after that kind of top 2 for 2, ended up with Darius getting a lovely freeze at the other end that put Camille a long way behind, didn't have a flash as well. Things started getting a bit dicey, and, all off just some frustrating wave bounce after that dive in the top side, and credit to Burning Core for coming back, and Proud and Ray Farkey in particular, landing some absolutely gorgeous sinks of abilities, as we said. That said, maybe they got a little bit fortunate to find some of those really good picks. Either way, they come out with the win. They found the team fights, and they definitely outplayed, or at least out-team comped in the late game. The Baron rush as well was just a beautiful call.
Yeah, absolutely. And it showed that when Burning Core are on a composition that's very simple. You just try and group up and fight. They can execute those team fights to a very high level, and it was all that was needed against Detonation.
And it's the second Herald Curse again, my friend. We've said it before, DFM. Try to find a pick, don't find it, go for the fight anyway. Don't want to give anything up because they're in the lead, and, well, kind of saw how that turned out. Say maybe the Baron one was a little bit rougher, but it's the way it is. Either way, Burning Core evened up the series. They'll be back onto the red side this time around, and they'll be looking to reprise their winning ways from Game 2. We're into pick and ban, and I'm recognizing some of these bans, Vinny.
Yeah, it looks... I mean, neither of these teams are really thinking the bans are going to be the issue. Still don't want that Caitlyn. This time around, I would definitely like DFM to try and play more through bot lane. Try and push Yuhi and Proud down. Proud has been showing up massively, but there's the Darius. I'm pretty sure that's a new one.
And it is one of those things you do have to respect Ray Farkey on, and it kind of did undo a lot of what DFM wanted to do. They had to be so careful in those top lane fights, had to wait out the decimates. It just took so long that you saw 4 plates go down in mid because it had took them so long to kill off that Darius. DFM, though, will secure themselves that Volley Bear first pick, and I am ready for the Velocity Bear in the top lane one more time.
Yeah, but there is definitely the potential for that Fasty Bear from a couple of positions. Again, if I'm Burning Core, I'm probably thinking to lock in you can lock in the Ashe, and that gives you a bit extra peel against the bear. I mean, there's the Bard. You provide that sort of... You can't really defend against the bear with it, but it's a strong bot laner. For Proud's team fighting on it was good. There you go.
In the Ashe as well is that lane they do love to go towards. And as we said, the Tempered Fates from Proud last game were honestly game-winning in a couple of those fights. Really performed on that champion super well come that mid to late game. DFM, though, have now got their own opportunity to pick up stuff. We'll go towards the Ezreal. Utapon is a very good Ezreal player. Let's see what they want to pair it up with here. I feel like maybe that Leona gang has pulled out some fantastic Leona games in recent weeks.
That is quite interesting in terms of a duo. You're going to probably, again, it's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see them attack that bot lane early, but it gives Evi heavy. I'll get there. Evie an extra dive buddy to go with, and if Utapon, if he can play that Ezreal rather well, it's his most played this split. He can just rein in from the outside, and that's an Echo.
It is, and it's also worth pointing out that's likely being Once's Echo. He is a massive Echo jungle player and has run over games on that champion. Our other one, of course, was Boogie, who's gone to it less in summer than he did in the spring, but Once is still going towards it, carries really hard, and then, of course, it is a flex pick. We could see it towards Yu-Gi-Oh, of course, but my imagination tells me that's likely going to jungle.
Yeah, it's quite likely going to be in the jungle, and it's a very interesting sort of jungle pick. It doesn't really provide a lot of that early pressure that you want to see out of a jungler in this meta, really. So it's quite interesting. If DFM plays it right, we might be able to see similar levels of jungle dominance that we saw in game 2, and maybe they can convert it.
Yeah.
A little better.
Kiana is an interesting ban here. The Nico and the Nidalee make sense, but Kiana was not what I was expecting out of DFM. That is something surely from scrims.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if Burning Core was to go for the double assassin comp, but
I wouldn't be, frankly. That would be like, it would be Burning Core all over.
I mean, I would if one of them is the mid laner.
Likely. All right. Got some picks here to go for. They've still got
enough luck.
They go LeBlanc and Echo. Of course, it's double AP, sort of mid 2v2, but Yu-Gi-Oh has kind of
just go Poppy.
Preferred that particular thing. Poppy wouldn't be an awful pick here, actually. I kind of agree.
If Effie goes Poppy, that shuts down both of those. Both of the assassins.
But you know what was left up?
Baby.
That's super buffed Ziggs, and Seros' Ziggs is a force to be reckoned with, to be sure. Is locked in for DFM. They've got themselves double poke with Ezreal and Ziggs. That's a lot of zone control as well. See what they want to round out this comp with. Of course, that Volibear still at this moment a flex, but it will be about to be defined by this last pick.
And again, if you just lock Poppy in here, it shuts off Camille as well, so they can't pick that. It shuts off the 2 side laner. It shuts off the assassins, so they can't engage on you while you siege.
And Evie is a very good connection. It is something. It is to bear to be said. Obviously, there are a lot of memes, a lot of jokes around.
Look, I don't mind Renekton. It's a fine pick. It's a great blind pick. It doesn't have all that many losing matchups, but it's just the potential wasted. I got myself hyped for Poppy mostly. We're going to see a match with the Gangplank. It's going to be sort of a wash as Saros will, Evie will smash that early, and then Rayfaku will, in theory, take over the later stages of the game. But
Rayfaku is a very good Gangplank, and of course you can ult to other lanes if things go on. It's great zone control, which can set up for things like Echo Stuns and all the rest of it. There's definitely a world where you can see those team fights going well. That said, we've got front to back for DFM with some fairly hefty engage from a Leona, Volibear, Renekton. On the side, though, it's a little bit more pick potential from Burning Core. They've got themselves the Echo, the LeBlanc, with an Ash Arrow and the Tempered Fate as well. So they're going to want to try and catch people out and blow up whoever is unfortunate enough to get caught out well enough in the last game.
Yeah, it's... Sorry. It's... I like the draft coming out of DFM. It's a nice standard draft. You've got good long range damage and a big front line to protect it. again, I would have liked the Poppy because there's a lot of engage from the side of from I'll get there from DFM, but there's no disengage against double assassin, and that's gonna be massive.
I mean, I guess there is a fair amount of CC, and Ezreal and Ziggs, Satchel and Arcane Shift do have their ways to get out of stuff. So I guess you can do that. I do that pretty well, but I grant you that, once LeBlanc gets himself a second item, Banshee's Veil can hop in, hop out fairly freely.
Yeah.
Echo with the Chrono Break can do similar things. So...
And if you have to keep your Volibear and Leona just standing on your carries as defense, they lose so much of their threat and potential that it might actually be a compositional advantage for Burning Core.
Kind of have to wait and see. We saw Burning Core in a bit of a tricky position with a no tank comp in the first game. Definitely room for that to be a problem here again. Of course, you won't get the teleport home guard additional speed boost for Volibear, so probably not quite Mach 5 as it was in the last game, but definitely could be a problem if DFM can close the gaps onto some of the squishier members of Burning Core.
Yeah, it is worth mentioning. The last time these teams matched up, we did see this top lane matchup, and they could not shut the GP down. So we will have to see if they've improved on that. There won't be a lot of setup or defense for the GP with the assassin mids, but you might see a lot of dives or ganks going up towards that Renekton if there is not enough cover for them.
Wasn't that well executed the last time out, but with Volibear and Renekton, that's a lot of CC, and oranges only make you so okay. Got to time that well. Last time, though, Ray Farkey did kind of outplay that kind of 2v2 in the top side, so see whether he can reprise that role.
Yeah, there is the benefit that if the LeBlanc might be somewhat chained to that mid lane because of the Ziggs. If she decides to leave it all, that tower will disappear.
Herald focus as well. Herald with Ziggs is dead towers straight out. You just Herald into Satchel and things disappear. Be interested to see how that works.
See if the bear is Herald in quite the same way.
Well, it's got to work out. Is it the surprise bear once again? Definitely something to be afraid of. Surprise bears are not what you want to see in your life. But Burning Core coming off a victory once again with a very Burning Core flavored draft. They've picked themselves up the Echo for once. They picked themselves up the GP for Ray Farkey. That's comfort. That's a little bit off meta as well. It's not as strictly standard, particularly the Echo. To be fair, a GP obviously a lot more standard, but can potentially catch people off guard if it's not what they're expecting to be play against.
Hard to say, really. I'm not entirely sure what the heck happened. Okay.
You're right.
Sorry.
I can buy time for you.
My Discord sort of just...
Discord things. It does that occasionally. Yeah. Either way, we will be hitting the rift, and Discord problems will be the last of our issues because we have League of Legends to cast. It's 1-1 in this series in the first round of playoffs. Burning Core turning things around after DFM looked pretty dominant in game 1. Still got at least 2 more games to play, and onto the rift we go. Thumbs up from Ebby. It is his favorite. Sadly, can't do it in person. We'll have to do it via emote.
Yeah, we will. I mean, I'm glad the emotes are in. I know they've been in for a while, but they are.
There has been some serious spice. Like some of the LJL emotes have been pretty great. There's been a lot of opposing team emotes that have been brought out just at the most beautiful moments. You can see the tilt occurring on stage as you witness. It's great.
Yeah, we've had great ones in the VCS. Zeros from Evos loves to just spam that thumbs up. It's pretty much macro to his right click, it feels like.
Well, we'll have to see how that plays out. For now, though, we're going to move on to where our jungle clears are. Both junglers starting on bot side of the map. AI bot giving the advantage over to Burning Core early on in this game. Couple picks in there, which certainly have very high win rates in the LJL. I'm looking at LeBlanc, I'm looking at Bard, I'm looking at Ashe. Definitely going to be tilting those stats in favor of Burning Core, at least early on. That said, we kind of know how DFM's comp's supposed to play, and there's enough buffs around and about that will, to certain champions, that should at least make them feel that stat bot isn't as accurate as perhaps the Burning Core would wish it was.
Yeah, and at this stage, there's not too much there's not a lot of concern for these teams. Sorry. We are hoping that DFM can maybe bounce back, try and get that bust out their early game leads again, and this time convert and not. We don't want to see them screw up around Rift Tower again, but that might continue to happen as we see an invade coming out from Steel. Is once not going to get his red buff?
Well, you can see it's being reset. Now, Once goes back to his Raptors, but Steel, with double buffs available, is going to drag the buff into the brush. Once will not have vision. Steel does have the smite, may have to use it. There's going to be the stun coming in, not used, but that will be red buff secured now for Once. He's got to try and find his way out. It's not the best early game for this particular champion, but here comes Ebby over the wall. Flash out for Once, but he does survive, will lose his Krugs. Now, Gang looking for the Zenith Blade, can't find it.
And yeah, you see the pressure coming in from Evie. I want to call him Evi.
Nah, you can't.
I know it's Evie.
This is not the VCS. It's not. It's over here. It's Ebby.
I know that.
We don't have Levi's. It's only the Ebbies. There's chain landing in mid lane, but this time the Zenith Blade does land. You'll have to talk about this later. Magical Journey gets Yuhi out. Ignite down for Gang, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Clone taken pretty low, but Seros actually has now forced it back. Low on mana here as well. Not really the back he was looking for. Is Steel going to try and get a hold of this Scuttle Crab, but Once gets it. That's super irritating. Now Steel in a spot of bother. Ebby super low. Got Cull the Meek, but the teleport now in from Seros. Steel so damn low, but the Cull the Meek gets everything. Now Once does go fall. So does Yu-Gi-Oh! It is a 2-for-1, and now Rayfaki needs to escape. He's got oranges, I believe, and that last Cull the Meek will cut down his health bar, but little else, and good teleport from Seros to turn that around.
Massive teleport from Seros. They're able to completely turn around. Evie is able to get 2 kills, including first blood, even though Steel barely survives long enough for that to happen. And look at this. Evie gives up a massive way for this, but it pays off for him. He's able to get the second kill with that red buff he stole from Once. And now you have a 2-0 Renekton. He hasn't backed yet, but
he's going to get this wave done now.
Just about to.
And yeah, he's
got
the CS lead. He's got 2 kills. That's going to be a fade straight out, and you know it. Possibly, honestly, I could see some Ninja Tabi being the option here, and that is what he goes towards. Ninja Tabi longsword, he's got enough base damage, and it means that poke's just not going to stick as well as Rayfaki was hoping. Teleport back in, slice, dice, Cull the Meek and Ruthless Predator doing some work, and Rayfaki's health bar will drop to half, but Corrupting Pot will at least keep him healthy-ish in this lane.
And Rayfaki was fortunate enough to get the blue buff off Steel, off Steel, so he's
Zenith Blade landing. Yuhi is in a spot of bother, does have cleanse, but taken very low. Utapon, Arcane shifting away. And that'll be the end of that. Once now coming up to the top side, going to try and get on to Ebby, who's going to find his way out of the parallel convergence. But now Ebby escapes with a parlay to the face, and that's about it. But with Once up top, it will be Steel and Seros moving over to this Infernal Drake in recompense for that attempt on the top side.
And they're able to do this with the mid shove from Seros and from the bot lane. Gang's consistently landing really good Zenith Blades onto Yuhi, which means that they are getting the pressure. And as you can see, the cleanse.
A bit careful here. He's got flash, but he's got satchel. May need to burn a little bit more here. Going to see a flash over to the blast plant, and now Steel chases him away. But that's good play out of Burning Core to punish Seros trying to get back to lane.
It's also worth mentioning Gang and Yutapon blew 2 summoners in the 2v2. Both Cleanse and Heal are down from Burning Core's bot lane. So if Steel ever wants to make his way down there, yes, they have flashes, but there's no Cleanse or anything. So if CC lands, CC is going to land, and they have a lot of it.
That's for sure true, and with the Cleanse in particular being the one I'm keeping my eye on. Proud hits level 6, and maybe they can look to Tempered Fate their way out of bother, but that's about it. Steel will find that his Raptor's gone as well, and once comes away with a red buff on most of the Raptors there.
Yeah, and once able to find a slide farm lead despite that, Gold will, of course, be just about even with the extra assist on the side of Steel, but he is down quite a lot of experience, it seems.
Apparently so. It's that's where those camps coming in, and this is what Once does if he can find his way to the enemy jungle. He loves to invade on the likes of Kindred, of Echo. Just finds his way onto the enemy Raptors pretty much all the time. Wants to get to Chrono Break as early as he can, and Steel at least will trade back onto Once's Raptors in response, and that'll keep things relatively even-ish. But you can see it's about a 10 CS lead, but DFM will continue their objective focus, move over to this Rift Herald with Once on the other side of the map. And with the bot lane roaming up with the shove they got earlier, they're going to look to get this. And remember, there is a Ziggs on the side of DFM, and that makes Heralds so much more impactful.
And Yutapon making his way down bot means that Yuhi and Proud aren't going to be able to get that, the Shelly's bargain is the term we use, where you trade Rift Herald for the same number of plates that Rift Herald gets, so it ends up being even. But with this, he's able to clear out the wave. Yuhi is then not even able to get that first plate. They might on this wave, but with Gang coming back down, they might be able to hold him off.
Double level 6 in for Burning Core right now. They've not quite got summoners, but the moment Gang hits 6, you can imagine they'll be looking for an engage down there. Saros is going back to mid lane, but Once is looking to punish the summonerless Ziggs, who stepped forwards. Here comes the chains for Yu-Gi-Oh! Has landed it. Satchel out. Will get the chains broken. Well played by Saros to extricate his way from that particular difficulty.
Yeah, perfect Satchel. That was beautiful out of him. Once didn't invest anything, so it's not too much time wasted or anything. He's going to run into Steel around these Raptors, and Saros is going
to see the Chrono Break straight away, but now he's in a serious spot of bother. That's going to be the shield, but there's going to be the stun made, well, the Stormbringer coming out, but Mega Inferno Bomb does miss, and wait, the Sky Splitter, not quite enough, Steel 4-1 survives! What on earth was that? The Cannon Barrage was massive! True Shot Barrage turned it around. Once playing with fire does escape. It's a 1-for-1, but bloody hell, that Echo nearly got away with absolute murder.
Yeah, that Echo survived so much longer than he had any right to, blowing that ultimate early. And 1-for-1, not much is going to come for it. But Yuji is forced back. That gives a lot of time alone with the tower for Saros. And just look at this. He blows it instantly. And it gets nothing. But
you can just see, just Once gets away fast enough, the flash out, that phase dive saved everything, and then the stun into Cannon Barrage gets Ray Fargy to kill as well. Gangplank is feeling very happy with that one.
But Yutapon, he's able to get that kill, so now Ezreal's a lot happier right now. Gang didn't go down here. No, that's right. So yeah, now there's 2 kills to both top laners. And
oh boy,
Heavy's a little bit bothered by that. He was doing so well.
How did this happen? Why are you feeding my Gangplank, which I had under tower this entire time? What are you doing? Ocean Drake set to come in about 15 seconds. Remember, Herald is still in inventory. There is a Ziggs. That could definitely be dangerous, but Steel's actually coming up to this top side, wanting to punish this Gangplank, who does not have Cannon Barrage. Once is around, though, so is Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is looking like, with the parallel convergence coming down, Steel's going to have to be really careful. He doesn't have Flash, doesn't have ult. He's in a lot of trouble.
Steel's dead.
That was such a poor path. Read super well by Burning Core.
And did they not call that the LeBlanc was missing?
I guess they thought they would get there faster.
And as soon as he walks onto that control ward, he should be either clearing it or just calling off the play. And maybe he gets out there, but now Evie is just
stops
in
actually
trouble
getting
here.
through the magical journey. It's going to run out of time. Yuhi does get out. I apologize. I thought that was going to down significantly earlier. It buys a little bit of time, and those magical journeys have saved Burning Court more than once in this lane.
Yeah, it's getting to the point you might need to be looking at getting rid of that Bard from...
He's actually in a serious problem, flashed out of the parallel convergence, but Watts is still going to keep going deeper. Won't quite find it, and Steel now back around. Yuji's going to have to try and find his way out. Has gone over the wall, but back into a stun, and is taken out by Ebby. That's a bit better from DFM. They still have the Herald, they have a Ziggs, but they're not going to use it. Instead, they will summon it mid, and look to convert that into an Ocean Drake capture for themselves. Tempered Fate turns that straight around.
Yeah, so completely wasted. I mean, the Herald are quite wasted there. Of course, Bard can do a lot of things, can waste a lot of time anyway.
DFM caught in the Dragon Pit. The Stormbringer comes out, but once is in the back end of this fight. Teleport's now coming in. Seros is here. That's the Chrono Break coming out. And the Dragon is secured by Steel. It is a 1-for-1 right now. Ebby in the backline, but very low. So is Steel. Yu-Gi-Oh hopping around. Yuhi trying to survive. Gets taken out of the pit, but Utapon will clean up that kill. Rayfaki, so very, very low. But flash in, but the heal bait is there, and that will be a kill for Seros. Minefield not quite enough, but now it's the double carries of DFM looking to hunt down the back end. That speed boost from the barrel keeps Rayfaki alive. 3-4-2 overall in favor of DFM, possibly Gang as well. I didn't see whether he went.
It was a 3-for-3 overall. Gang did go down towards the start of that fight. And
so he did.
But it looks so bad for DFM at the start. Gang eating that Ash Arrow, but they're able to hold off the a lot of the main damage threats, Yu-Gi-Oh and Rayfaki in particular, with that front line, while Utapon and Seros raining in damage onto the back line from afar. And then Yuhi goes down, and beautiful bait from Utapon, and which means Yu-Gi-Oh ends up going down, and Rayfaki just gets out.
Oh, this man gets, once got away with murder. Rayfaki got away with murder. And that's going to be a serious frustration. It is a gold lead to DFM, about 1,000, but Burning Core are making this scrappy enough to keep them in consideration. That Gangplank at 4-0-2 already has a Trinity Force before 15 minutes.
Yeah. 100% kill participation for the Gangplank. It is very massive for him. This is not kept down at all. They couldn't do it last time. They don't seem to be able to do it this time. And DFM
to be punished a lot in this one. 0-4-6, 0-3-6.
Yeah, DFM seem to be struggling a little bit with keeping Burning Court down. Not a lot of tower plate gold traded, despite the Ziggs, despite the Herald. Good Bard ult from Proud doing that. And now they're around the Cursed Herald.
They're around that second DFM. Herald once is around, and you can feel it. The curse is strong. Burning Court are around. Ebby is under his tower. They're looking to dive him. He has got Dominus, but may need to use it very defensively here. But DFM still looking for this. Hop over the wall with the blast. But now Steel going forwards. So was Ebby, but they don't chase it on any further. Now DFM back over to the Herald. We'll start it up one more time, and you can see the Burning Car aren't quite done with this yet.
And they're not committing enough damage to the Herald right now, so there is a lot of time for Burning Core to get in there. The Zenith Blade goes wide. Now Rayfaki is stepping very far forward.
He is stepping forward. Steel here. He's got the level disadvantage versus once. Going to try and get this one. But wait, Yu-Gi-Oh gets caught by the Soul Flare, but it's a well-buffered distortion to get out. Gang's still pretty low. Does take a chain. This is a massive Call the Meek. What happened there? Ebby just gets in the backline, and my voice goes wild because I was not expecting the Crocodile to get quite in the backline. And this time, DFM get the Herald as Burning Core overstep around that objective.
And Yu-Gi-Oh gets way too confident after dodging out that solar flare. He just walks straight into Evie, who's just in the pit.
Goes in, but that is a massive turnaround. Steel with the Stormbringer. Turns around. Gang survive. Rayfaki with the parlay. Will get a kill back, but he's going to get traded. And that's a huge shutdown onto the Renekton. 5-1-2, 5-1-2. These top laners are going blow for blow in these fights. Second Herald summon, and there's a Ziggs, and massive amount of personnel advantage for DFM. They're going to get a lot out of this.
And it definitely could have gone a lot worse on the side of Burning Core. Proud finding a massive stun, keeping Udapon from popping off on the back. And yeah, that massive shutdown over to Evie. Both top laners are greatly accelerated. Unfortunately, one scales quite a bit better.
It does, but there's a lot of squishy members, which means Renekton can still find something.
That is true.
Said, I completely agree. Gangplank late game. I'm sure he'll be going Infinity Edge. I'm sure he'll be going Essence Reaver. And you can just imagine the vast quantities of damage that particular Pirate King will be putting out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he's not. I apologize. He's going towards Hysterics Gauge, and I made a lie.
Wow. Okay.
I guess it's no real tank, so he has to be.
Yeah, I mean, you have the sort of pseudo tank in the forms of all the invulnerability and the extra health bar Echo provides. But Evie's going in and Rayfaki, and that's
Seros has got a Mega Inferno Bomb, and there's no flash. He just gets eviscerated, exploded, incinerated. All of the terms just went way too deep in that lane. As the Mountain Drake was spawning as well, DFM now have the modern man advantage. Once has still got that level advantage, but look at Ebby around the back. He's got Dominus, and if he decides that this is the fight they want, they've got that man advantage. Solar Flare onto Yuhi, but the Zenith Blade after the cleanse. He does survive, and that will be the Ashe out. I feel like I've seen this so many times, but Utapon refuses to let the Ashe out. Now Proud will get the binding. Ebby's in a spot of bother, has to flash out, but all the while the Mountain Drake is being started and is about to be taken unless Once can get in. He cannot, and that will be 2 kills and a Mountain Drake for DFM. Utapon's Ezreal is a damn sniper.
And do you know what assassins hate? Resistances. And they are on Mountain Soul Point. This is the worst possible outcome for Burning Core and their double assassin comp. And even Gangplank is kind of a burst mage. So they really don't like the extra shielding this Soul will give them. They need to take back these dragons, but there are 4 opportunities. There are 3 times DFM can mess up as we go into the replay. And Gang, beautiful engage onto Yuhi. He explodes down to nothing. And from there, Utapon gets the smite and then a snipe,
Blind.
Insane. Blind snipe, perfect. And from there, you've got no Gangplank, you've got no Ashe, you can't fight, you give up that dragon, and DFM is in that commanding position.
They are up 4,000 gold. They've got a lot of turrets to go on, but that is Indominus. Gang is here, and there's so much CC. Cannon Barrage comes down, and 5-2 you might be, but there's just not enough. Too much tankiness, too much CC, and welcome to the dawn, my friend. Leona sends her regards. Ebby 6-1 and 3. 13-7 in kills, and DFM are starting to run away with a little bit here. Got 4,000 gold, got 3 Drakes, and after that fight was the first time we saw a completed item for Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, this LeBlanc is a mile behind the Ziggs as well. Yeah, Gangplank's doing well, but everybody else feels like they're kind of a step behind their opponents.
Yeah, and now the Gangplank is really starting to be targeted as the only real point of strength on the enemy team. So they just kind of keep diving him. And when you remove that 7,000 gold plus at this point from the side of Burning Core, they're not in a good position. That DFM are already up 6k.
Oh, not again.
Closer to 5k, sorry.
Rayfaki, run! You can't be here! Debbie stepping forward, gets the stun. There are the oranges, which buy time, but that will mean that DFM just get to rotate over to this top tier 2. Burning Core are going to try and come around. Proud has a Tempered Fate. Maybe you can trade something. Also worth noting, Ziggs is not here, but does have Teleport, and DFM will be forced away, and Rayfaki this time is fast enough to get away from the attempted dive onto the Gangplank. And
Ziggs, if he really wanted to, could be much more aggressive and just instantly delete that outer tower. But 90% win rate from the Blitzcrank.
can't entirely
I
blame
can't
it with the way
disagree.
things are. I know. And, like, I can understand why Saros isn't pushing up super hard. Didn't know where anybody else was until Proud turns up. It's like, well, if I'm shoving up and they try to play against me on that because I'm on the weak side, then we go for one rather than, one for none. So, it makes sense. It's just, in hindsight, he could have pushed for the tower. I agree.
Yeah. I think with the amount of the speed Saros can take a turret, he's only there for like 2 seconds. So
I mean, I will say that the risk is, I suppose, it's like the satchel's how you take the turret. And that's also your main escape. So if you're using it to blow up the turret,
yeah, that is true.
You get out. So maybe was feeling a little bit uncertain about that. And actually, Yu-Gi-Oh is the one who picks up a turret. So Burning Core at least pick up one. Kudos. That's something. You're still down 4,000 gold. Kind of down some significant item completions. Like, that is 2.5 items in for Ezreal, including the Transform Muramana. It's a fully stacked Rod of Ages and a Morellonomicon in for this Ziggs. You're looking at, an item and a half at best for this Ashe in the LeBlanc, who really wanted to be further ahead. LeBlanc especially, does want to kind of snowball to an extent.
Yeah, the only lane you're looking at and saying, we have parity is the support. And that's unfortunate.
I mean, I would say, once it's hit 2 items, that's something that Echo can maybe find something. But, Volibear's got all he needs to be effective right now. All right, they're going to go for the dive, though, and maybe this is where we find out whether that's enough. Actually, they just pull away from it, decide it's not enough. Yeah,
they can't get that initial CC, so they don't decide to go for the dive. They have enough burst to delete Utapon, and that's a big shutdown.
Well, DFM's turn now to try and find position because, of course, it will be Mountain Soul possibly for DFM in all but 10 seconds. Burning Core, what do you have for me? This is your big moment. It's 23 minutes into the game. You're down 4,000 gold, and if you lose this, you can write this 3rd game off. You need to find something. Rayfaki is strong, but he takes a Zenith Blade. There's the Solar Flare, but Gang actually has gone very deep. Rayfaki is surviving, and actually that is a very tanky Gangplank, but that was absolutely monstrous from Utapon and Saros, who turned around the back end, but Utapon actually also very low. Has got to be very careful. Once off to the side, is going to try and find something. He's got Flash. He's not got Proto Belt, and DFM will have to back away. Utapon had to burn a lot there. And now Yu-Gi-Oh kind of caught out on the side here a little. Can try and heal up once, looking to get a catch maybe onto this Renekton, but I don't think he wants that. That's just keeping once away from this dragon. Utapon's still pretty low. But Steel is starting up this Mountain Soul. Yu-Gi-Oh is being forced to retreat, and DFM with big health bars on Saros, Steel, and of course that Renekton will be able to secure Mountain Soul.
And Utapon more like simple. He is a massive sniper out here. He cannot keep getting away with those snipes. Yuhi shouldn't have died there. It looks bad. Gang goes in pretty deep, and yes, and he does get caught out quite a bit. The turnaround is almost there, but the Mega Inferno Bomb included with the True Shot Rush just clips him on the edge. And Utapon not dying there with the burst with the entire combo coming out of Yu-Gi-Oh! It really shows the downside, the problems this team is going to have, and that's only going to be inflated now that they've got the Mountain Soul.
Yeah, and again, this LeBlanc 1, 4, and 5 isn't what Yu-Gi-Oh! Wanted out. It's not the Cassiopeia performance. Once has got something, but they're down 5,000-ish gold right now. And frankly, Utapon on Ezreal is a beast. We have seen it even when DFM have looked shaky this split. Utapon has been a shining light on that champion. It's been very, very good, and we're seeing it again here. His read on the True Shot Barrages is so strong, and credit to Burning Core. They scrapped well. They scrapped hard early. And they kind of caught DFM being a little aggressive in places they shouldn't be, but at this point, it's starting to get turned around. That's a Tempered Fate onto a red buff. Utapon maybe caught a little far up, but now one's actually going to get turned around. The Chrono Break comes out, does get out in time. Cannon Barrage also called down, but here comes the teleport, and that is going to be a mighty, mighty Crocodile as he slices. He dices, but actually we're going to see the Smoke and Mirrors coming out of the LeBlanc, who takes half a health bar to some incidental abilities from Ziggs, and still Yu-Gi-Oh trying to get out, but the bouncing bombs are feeling more like nuclear warheads at this point into the game, and Yu-Gi-Oh's like, I'm gonna try and find my way out, but I've just found a very large crocodile, and Saros will get it. Buys time and little else.
So all in all, that was a very, very flashy way to get a red buff and a kill.
Oh,
But
the most extraordinary red buff take you've seen in a while. Either way, DFM now positioning around Baron. Ebby uncontested at this inhibitor turret. Vinny, what do Burning Core do at this point?
They really have to go for the Hail Mary team fight. They're probably just trying to stall out until Elder Dragon and hoping for the steal. You still have jungle parity in terms of experience, so you're not completely going to be outclassed there. But other than that, I think you're just going to turn this into the French pause. You're just going to stall this game out as long as you can and say, all right, what happens next? What do we do next game? How do we not get in this situation? What's our draft going to be? Just drag it out as long as possible. If you get that 50-50 smite and win off the Elder Dragon, that's great, but you're not looking for it.
In the last game, DFM's comp, trying to play towards the side lane, was stifled by the pocket pick of Darius in part. Of course, there were a lot of other issues in there. Let's not sort of reduce it too much. But this time around, it's once again the volley bear that's come out that DFM looks strong with. And it's Seros' Ziggs as well that's just kind of stifled a lot of what this LeBlanc wanted to do. And, Ray Foggy gets his gangplank, and yeah, he's got fed. But everybody else kind of falling a little bit behind. This Echo that was supposed to be a ace in the hole for once hasn't really found as much as he would like. And hell, he's on the Ashe, this pick that he was looking pretty good on for one of our weaker AD carries. Let's be frank here for Burning Core. And I don't know, man. It's looking pretty rough in this particular game.
Yeah, Rayfark is just looking at this and saying, it's not my fault. It's not on me. But unfortunately, while he did get fed in the fights, it wasn't just him getting fed. It was the entirety of DFM getting fed as well. So while he got to be 5-1, Evie was 5-1. Seros and Utapon got to be like 3-0 with multiple assists. So it didn't work out so hot for them. And then they just realized he was the only point of power Burning Core had left. So they just attacked him again and again, and he didn't respect that in that side lane, and he got caught multiple times, which meant DFM could completely nullify Burning Core's only real advantage. And from there, they had great dragon control, as we come to expect from them. And then at this point, now they're just waiting for Baron to put that final nail in.
They are 30 minutes into the game, and DFM scaled pretty damn well, frankly, with the Ziggs and the Ezreal and just a very beefy front line. Utapon as well, I want to call out a bit of an itemization choice there. Gone for the more of Malmortius, knows that his real worries in this game are the Echo and the LeBlanc, who are kind of a little ways behind as well. So add in the more, and their job is just massively harder. Mega Inferno Bomb is coming out now, and now once has to chrono break back, but he's taken a long way. The Tempered Fate buys time, but little else. Ebby finds his way onto once, and yeah, there's a parallel convergence, but it's going to have to be a parallel universe where that Echo survives. Falls down, its jungler dead, and DFM will move over to the Baron with no smite contest available.
Yeah, so with 13 seconds on the Elder Drake, this could be a small way back in for Burning Core if they can get down there in time to rush it. This Baron take is going very slow.
Damage. Yeah,
DFM aren't taking any damage, but it's slow, so that might give them enough time to burst it down if they commit everything to it. And they're going to reset.
All right.
No, what are you doing?
There's double TP, so maybe they can go in for that. I don't know what health the Elder Dragon is at. They maybe should have just wandered straight over. It's not going down very fast for Burning Core either, though. They'll get it down to half HP, but Steel is going to be here pretty quickly. It's going to be close, Finny. And it's actually just gone.
I got it.
They will secure the... Wait, no! How did they do it? The Sky Splitter buys DFM everything. In game 2, it was a 400 HP smite fight for the Baron. In DFM's third game here, they come out trumps with the mother of all Sky Splitters getting them absolutely everything. And Burning Core, it was a last gasp, and you find nothing but water, and you are drowning in this game.
And Burning Core is kicking themselves. If Proud was wandering around doing not much, if he had been autoing that Baron with them for the whole entire time, that would have been Elder Dragon to Burning Core. And now it's in DFM's hands. They've got Mount Soul, they've got Elder Dragon, they've got Baron. This should be it. They just, all they need now is the engage.
Burning Core, you've got one last gasp. That is about as tilting as it gets. Right your screens from that 90-degree angle and give me one last roll of the dice. It's all you're going to be given at this point. DFM are up over 10,000 gold. They have double Uber buffs. They have got the late gamer advantage and they are looking to end it. Vinny, what have you got for me? Have Burning Core got a chance?
There's nothing. I mean, a massive barrel combo maybe, but there's no chance.
They're
playing with half their health bars.
They can't find anything. The Elder Dragon spreads its wings above the Renekton. 3 are dead. DFM are on the Nexus, and they will move up to series point. They played that mid game so damn well. Snipers and crocodiles, and the best, we'll call it best, the most amazing Elder Dragon steal I think I have seen in quite some time.
And this is the Detonation FocusMe people think of when they hear the name. There's a solid team from start to finish, and whoa, we're going on to game 4. We'll discuss this one first, I guess, after a quick break.
That we will. Well then, guys, we are back. I kind of forgot I was the host there for a moment, but it's okay. We are back in production, shaking his head at me somewhere in the other part of this apartment. But either way, Vinny, That was a hell of an exciting game. We had 19 kills in 18 minutes. It run me through that early game in particular because it was scrappy as all hell.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams were going at each other very hard. Once being very, very aggressive. Steel as well, making very aggressive pushes into the enemy jungle, and both teams reacting very well to it. Both top laners in particular getting very far ahead very early.
502.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with the bigger team fights, it meant we weren't seeing so much both teams going evenly. It was DFM getting a lot of the advantages because they were playing their team fight setups very well, with all the focus of Burning Core being focused onto, Evie, Steel, Gang, and Udapon and Saros are just free firing and getting super far ahead.
Yeah, Burning Core really want to be able to snowball, right? Like, you wanted to get the LeBlanc ahead, they wanted to get the Echo ahead, and it just never really happened.
They got the Gangplank ahead, but only the Gangplank ahead. And from there, DFM just attacked the Gangplank again and again. Yeah. Now, of course, Udapon got fed off kills out of nowhere a couple of times.
Glorious snipes.
Snipes.
Actually, I do want to bring our attention to one of those plays that did end up in snipes, and I kind of feel I have to call out once here a little bit. We know that this is a guy who likes to be the 1v9 player, and honestly has been largely this split. Sometimes because he has to be with the way the team functions as a unit. But this time on the Echo, ends up 0, 6, and 7. The pocket pick comes out. It doesn't work out all that well. And I do want you to sort of talk me through that that really aggressive Raptor invade where he nearly got away with murder.
Okay, so the Raptor invade was super interesting. Like, he got caught out and he blew his ult immediately. It looked so bad, but beautiful fancy feat. He Steel overshooting his ultimate, perfect sidesteps and phase dives to avoid Zig's Mega Inferno bomb and the Sky Splitter, but then just gets clipped on the end by Udapon's ultimate. And I mean, I don't know why he was there other than trying to steal as much farm as he could, but he got punished for it. I mean, he managed to turn into 1-for-1 because of how hard they had to overchase for it.
But yeah, it was some fancy feat, but the mechanical prowess shouldn't really have been required there. And I feel that was something of a problem with Burning Core this game. It was even-ish in the early game, but the Drake gang started happening. Then the kill advantages in the mid-game team fight started happening, and then we saw the Baron play. And I suppose this will be our last point. I know it's not seriously something we need to analyze, but I do want to talk us through that Elder Dragon that was an amazing highlight, even if it was DFM putting themselves in a bit of a spot of bother there.
Yeah, so DFM nearly gave Burning Core the perfect opportunity to get back in. They took the Baron, where they started the Baron with 10 to 15 seconds left on Elder, recalled instead of going to that Baron, and gave plenty of time for Burning Core to burn it down. Now the only real benefit was because they started their Baron because they picked off once, so there was no smite, and the clutchest last second smite out of Steel meant that DFM got this game in the books. But
it was a real cinema moment, that is for sure. And it was a game of inches in some of those fights where people were surviving with slivers. Ray Farkey, after that second dragon fight, we saw it with Utapon after he went for a snipe onto Yuhi. In the end, though, it was DFM that came out on top. They will move to match point. Burning Core to see if they can turn it around in the next game. Otherwise, DFM will close out this series 3-1. Go absolutely nowhere because this could be the final match in only a few minutes.